Beautiful. Alrighty. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Olga is here. I'm so excited to welcome you to this workshop, 3 ways to check if you have really moved on. So if you've been part of the Forgiveness Challenge, you know how wonderful this work is and what it can do for you, for your life, for your finances, for your health. And so today we're going to take it a step further and check if you really are over the thing that you are trying to work on. So if you're someone who think, well, it's been a while, but every time I hear about my ex or I see somebody who look like him, I get triggered. Or, I heard people saying like, we've been separated for over a year, but he unfriended me on Facebook and it really triggered me. Or I literally read it in one of the Facebook groups yesterday. She goes like, we've been divorced for 6 months and then he started dating and I can't stop crying. True stories, all of these true stories. And part of me feeling like, okay, like what is wrong with me? Is there something wrong with me? Because I've gotten over my ex like really fast. It took me months, right? And then I started dating and I met him. I was like, am I just like a unicorn and I'm doing something differently? Do I have a special talents? And when I was thinking about it, the answer is no. I don't have any special talents. I'm not a unicorn. I'm not different. I actually didn't have any even good role models when I was growing up, And so all of these were brand new things for me to learn how to manifest a partner and how to get over the past. And the good news, guys, is all of these are learnable skills, right? So just like learning to play a piano or exercising in the gym, those are just a set of skills. And so this is why I'm so excited about this workshop, because it pains my heart to see a woman going it over and over again, the same patterns when they'll say things like, well, I kind of thought I'd forgiven, but then it came back again. So today we'll talk about how to avoid that so you can really truly move on. Now, so here's what to expect, guys. So in this workshop, we'll talk about 3 different ways on how to check if you're already over it, and we'll go through specific processes, and I'll teach you some really, really great techniques how to deal with this in case if not. Now, at the end of this training, I'll talk to you a little bit about how to work with me one-on-one, if this is what you're looking for, and I'll tell you about my signature Tap into Love program. This is something that I designed for somebody just like you, and I'm super excited about it because I know it's absolutely amazing. Alrighty, let's begin. Now, if you don't know who I am, my name is Olga Bochareva. I'm a relationships coach and advanced fast EFT practitioner. A super quick story about what happened with me and how I came to do this. I've been actually an EFT and fast EFT practitioner for many, many years. I started back in 2013, so it's 6 years since I've been doing this work professionally. And for many years, I actually was helping women with money blocks and business fears, rejections, and not good enough syndrome. And then I went through divorce. So in 2016-17, I was going through a very messy divorce and things got really difficult. Lots of topping there. Long story short, after the divorce, it took me about 6 months to get back to dating. And pretty much right away, I'm meeting an amazing guy, and a year later, we're getting married. So naturally, a lot of women started asking me, what is it that you do? How was you able to get back to dating so fast? How was you able to manifest the right guy without going through a whole bunch of crappy dates? And so this is how this work started, because I had so many questions and so many women coming to me and asking me, what is it that I've done? So for the last 6 months, I literally sit down and I looked back and I reversed engineered the process and the steps that I took to get me there. And that's what Tap into Love is about. And that's why I'm so excited about it, right? Because it's a proven process. I went through it. Lots of my clients went through it. So I can't shut up talking about it. Now, so today I want to talk to you about some foundational pieces that will help you move forward, whether you hire me to work with you or not, because this is where the rubber meets the road. And so why is it so important to even do this forgiveness work or go back and clear? And the truth is, I see so many women jumping into the new relationships or starting this journey without really giving an opportunity to heal it. Now, here's the caveat, guys. I personally don't believe it should take years or even some 10 months. Robert Smith said it best. Somebody asked him, how long should you grieve, or how long should you hold on to the hurt? And he looked at them and said, how long would you want a 4-year-old to hold on to a hurt or grieve or suffer, right? Like, where is it? There's a manual out there that says, okay, If you've been betrayed, 6 months. If you've been abandoned, a year. There's no manual like this, right? So here in Tap Into Love, we do things differently. We believe it's our time to grow up and be happy, and it's totally okay to move on and to heal fast. That's what you have to hear, right? And so this amazing tools, this techniques that I'm about to introduce to you guys, they are designed to help you get to these underground things faster, so you don't have to get stuck in the same patterns and you don't have to trip over yourself. All right, so let's start. So first, as we're getting started, so here's the thing that we're going to go through. So I'm just going to look at my notes. So we'll talk about deep forgiveness and how it's connected to the intimate fulfillment life. Second thing, we'll talk about why forgiving yourself is the hardest thing to do and how to actually do it. Finally, we'll talk about 3 ways to check if you really moved on. And we'll talk about how to attract a partner that matches your values versus dating the same guy over and over again, or not dating at all for that matter. And so we already started talking a little bit about the forgiveness and how it's connected to what's happening in your life. And naturally, your mind always will try to protect you, right? Your subconscious mind is that strong, and the universe is always on your side. So if part of you will feel hurt or subconsciously feel hurt, the second you start thinking about getting into relationships, guess what's going to happen? Feelings are always stronger than a thought, right? So you will pull back because, again, law of attraction works without any holidays or weekends, right? It doesn't take time off. And so according to the law of attraction, you will not be able to manifest what you want because there's a pain in there, right? There's suffering in there. There's some kind of fear in there. So going there and healing it, it's such a beautiful gift to yourself that naturally you can start dating and you can have some really great experiences. And so when you go through the forgiveness process, and those of you who've done the forgiveness challenge with us, if you remember, I've taken you through a very, very specific step-by-step process. We started with deciding why, right? Because we always say, if your why is big enough, your how will appear. The second step had to do with, okay, let's go and see if we need to forgive some parents in our life. And then we talked about, okay, do we need to forgive somebody who betrayed or lied to us? And of course, we talked about the system behind it, right? The fast shift switching process. Now, in only step 5 or day 5 was forgiving yourself. And what I'm hearing from women over and over who went through this challenge, they're like, Olga, oh my gosh, every forgiveness is essentially forgiveness of yourself, right? So when you go within and you start healing and cleaning your triggers, then all of a sudden, you don't need to forgive anyone because they haven't done anything wrong, right? It was just a rite of passage. And so let's talk about the 3 ways that you can really verify and you can really check if this work is done. So, ready? Let's begin. So the first thing that I want you to do is I want you to start noticing. And, you know, before we go there, guys, so, because I was getting a lot of questions like, do you forgive everybody as a bunch? Do you pick one person? Do you forgive parents? Do you forgive an ex? And I think the best way to go through this process is just start with one person. Just decide, okay, I'm really going to make peace with that person, so I'm just going to kind of use an ex as an example. And so if you're forgiving your ex-husband or your ex-partner or your ex-boyfriend, just start noticing, do you get triggered by his name, right? So step number 1, notice if you get triggered by his name. Do you get triggered by his picture? Do you get tension when you hear music that you were hearing together or some objects around you? And because some people will come to you and say, oh, no, Olga, I'm over it. I've forgiven it. And then they see somebody who looks just like that, or we're wearing the same shirt, the same red shirt. What happens next? Your amygdala go into the fight or flight, and you're just mean and ugly to that person, and you don't even know why, right? So let's become really emotionally intelligent for our own good and start paying to these really tiny, tiny things. And the truth is, it's not your fault, because like, nobody taught me these things in school, right? I had to grow up and figure it out by myself, because at some point I said, okay, I have a very low tolerance for unhappiness, and I just cannot settle for mediocrity. And so that's why I started teaching this thing, because I think everybody needs to know it, and it's just a matter of practice. So if you are here with me on this workshop, or if you are working on this on your own, make sure that you go through this specific process and just kind of ask yourself, okay, number one, do I get triggered by his name? And if you're here, guys, I would love for you to share with us whom are you forgiving, or who is that person that you're working with. And if you don't have to put a name there, if you don't want to, you can just say my ex, or you can say my parent, right? It doesn't matter what it is. We just want to get really, really clear. And so start with the name and see if you get triggered with the name. Now, if you're adventurous like me, and if you want to take it a step further, here's what you can do. When I started dating, I actually found a guy who has the same name as my ex. True story, guys. And, you know, he contacted me on one of those dating websites, and I responded back, and I was like, oh my gosh, his name is the same. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, I got really, really triggered. And so as we started talking, I was like, this is just an opportunity to heal. So guess what I did? That's right, I had a date with him. And the truth is, like, I didn't necessarily thought that it's going to go anywhere, but I was in this exploratory stage where throw everything at it, right? And it was really great to sit at the table with this guy, to call him the same name as my exes, and not to get triggered. It was very, very healing. So I want to encourage you to go ahead and do this exercise, and just do it in your mind. See if you can go on a date with someone who has the same last name, or better off, go find a guy just like that, because the universe always will bring you opportunities to heal, and go on a date with him. Now, you're probably starting to understand what I'm talking about here, right? And how it works. In Fast EFT, we call this process put the cook in the kitchen, which essentially means get in a situation that used to be traumatic or triggering or stressful, and tap the hell out of it, right? And people say, well, how do you tap? What kind of thing that you say? How many times you tap on each point? It doesn't matter. The beauty of the tapping, and the reason why I still love it as my number one tool, because it works, right? So the second you get triggered, go ahead and tap. Doesn't matter what you say, doesn't matter how many times, you will notice that you'll feel better. It's a great trance breaker. Another good way to trance break it as you're working through this process, you know, right, thinking about your ex name or thinking about this, is a happy memory exercise, right? So as you're tapping, go to happy memory. You will notice that eventually it just doesn't bother you. It doesn't serve as a trigger. So let's talk about the first way. Are there any questions about this, guys? Does it make sense how to use the first method, the first way, to check if you've really moved on, if you're really forgiven? And of course, we'll go more into it, right? So we'll talk about some more advanced techniques, but this is a good place to start. So if you don't know where the message chat is, it's on the bottom of the screen. So if you click on the chat, you will see a little chat box, and you can ask me questions, you can share. So right now, I'm just going to wait for a second to see if you guys have any questions about this first thing. First of all, just kind of out of curiosity, how many of you get triggered by the name of your ex? Just go ahead and say it out loud, test yourself, and see if you get triggered. And go ahead and share it with me. Alrighty, guys. Now, before I forget, I always forget this part. So I wanted to ask you, and we're gonna make it quick, so maybe 30, 45 minutes, so like another 30 minutes or so, is at the end of this training, I'm going to share something with you that is a free gift from me. So make sure to stay to the end. This way you can take advantage of it. Alrighty, guys. Awesome, awesome. Oh, wow, that's interesting. So Karen said, my ex has the same name as my father. What a curious coincidence, right? So the question is, does it bother you? Does it trigger you? Do you feel like you need to tap on it? Make sure that you tap until it's a zero emotional reaction, right? We want to just go ahead and clear out all these unnecessary triggers so we just don't have a stressful life. All right, fantastic. If there's no questions here, then let's go ahead and move on to number 2. Karen says, not at all. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So on the second thing, what I want you to think about is, can you be in the same room with this person, right? And here's the truth, guys. I mean, you don't have to like even interrupt, or you don't have to be super nice to him, or you don't have to be, you know, anything or everything special, rather than, let me see if you can be in the same room with him. And I remember a time when I was just fresh out of divorce, being in the proximity of my ex, like, maybe 3 or 4 feet, I could feel my whole body go into the stress reaction. Like my jaw was tightened, like I would feel the pressure in my shoulder. I could totally feel getting triggered. And so these triggers will pull you back when you start dating, when you start thinking about dating or going on a date. Because if there's anything or everything in the presence of man that if it doesn't feel safe, then again, remember the law of attraction never betrays you, right? It always works. It always will try to protect you by not providing you opportunity to be with a man, because in your mind, it's not safe. And so start noticing this. And even right now, go ahead and do it. You think, guys, close your eyes and imagine that you are in the same room with your ex. And just kind of see what's coming up. And we'll kind of tap on this together so you know how to tap on this yourself when you are in a proximity or you know it's coming. So like in my case, me and my ex, we still co-parent kids together. And there are some activities when we quote unquote bump our heads. Now, mind me guys, he's still pretty ugly and pretty rude in my presence. Not like in an obvious ways, but he wouldn't say hi. And when I would pass something to him, he'll say, just put it here, So he's just been very, very kind of passive aggressive. And it totally doesn't bother me. To the point where Ernie, is my husband, he said, Olga, he's been rude to you. I was like, you know what? It just doesn't bother me. I mean, like, he doesn't say anything to me directly. He was like, but he doesn't say hi. I was like, so what? So he actually volunteered to drop off the kids for me because he didn't like how my ex treated me. But that was a really good exercise for me just to kind of check if I'm carrying something from the past or if there's something that's bothered me. So go ahead and do this, guys, and check with me and let me know what's going on. So Amy shared, yes, I do. I'm still living with him until I move on. I want to get to the point as I'm in the same situation where he's been rude in my presence, living here. I'd love to know how to not to get triggered. Well, I'm going to tell you something probably that a lot of people told you, Amy. You gotta move out, right? So you gotta clear your space, you gotta let it go. And I totally understand, guys. Sometimes it's not possible, right? Sometimes maybe you are in a place where, oh, hold on, guys. I think some of you is unmuted. I'm sure I'm mute everybody. Okay, there you go. Muted, yes. So, like one of the things that I talk about in Tap into Love program, yeah, so that is the plan as I'm moving out. Yeah, fantastic. But that is really is the first thing that you want to do, because being in a close proximity of someone, it makes it hard to impossible to move on because you get triggered by the same things, you get into the same patterns. And when you got a clean cut and you have some place to kind of be by yourself, it's totally different experience. Let me give you another example. I was talking to Ernie yesterday and he said, Olga, I was thinking about a trip that me and my son took lately. And well, it wasn't lately, it was like a couple of years ago, but they went to New York. Now, at that time, he and his ex were considering separations or going through separation. And he goes like, it was so fascinating to get a bit of a distance from her because I noticed, oh my gosh, I can breathe. I can be happy. Things doesn't trigger. He was like, it was just such a liberating feeling to see and to feel what his life looked like without being in the proximity of a toxic person. And he goes like, thanks God I took the trip with my son because that made me realize, yeah, it's really okay to move on and divorce her. I will be much, much happier to do this. And I don't want to get into the details, but she'd done something that was not a very nice thing to do. And so they tried to work things out, and good for me they didn't, right? Because Ernie worked on himself and she's still working on herself. But the long story short is, it's important to get some distance from the people, right, that are not a good fit. Now, when it comes to triggers, well, if you are in a super close proximity with them, tap. It's all an opportunity to heal, right? So if they're there and they bother you, you can say something as simple as, excuse me, I have to use the restroom. Step in the restroom and say, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. But again, my true belief is that there are 7.5 billion people on this planet. Surround yourself with one who loves, support, and appreciate you. If they don't, find somebody with a better taste who will. Can I get a hell yes here? Alrighty, guys. So number 2, I'm just going to summarize it. Can you be in the same room with this person? And again, you don't want to live with him or move in with him, but can you be there and not get triggered? And test it out in your mind, because remember, guys, the neuroscience tell you that anything that you can do in your mind, you can have in your life, right? It is the same emotional reaction, the same triggers, the same parts of the body get kind of fired up as you do this. And so let me know in the chat, guys, in your mind, if you play this exercise, can you be in the same room? Do we need to do a quick round of tapping to clear it out? And this is a really, really great way to check if you moved on, right? To kind of feel that energy, to test out where you are. And here's the truth. Some people will tell me, well, Olga, I kind of feel okay now, but then tomorrow it's going to change. And that's fine too, because you are a human being. And the good news is that you have this wonderful tool of tapping. So if it comes back on some level, you know, just go ahead and tap. And this is precisely, by the way, I no longer offer one-on-one sessions too often, because I understand it's a skill. Like, yeah, I want you to go on a date. Yes, I want you to, start dating and meet some guys. But the honest truth, what I really want for you is to create long-term, beautiful, healthy relationships. Like, to be even more honest, I want you to be happily married. And that's essentially what I do with women that I work, and that's how I help them. Because I believe it's my life purpose. I believe this is what I'm meant to do here on the earth. And I think I'm really good at it. I think I figured out the system behind it. And so it is a practice, and it is a repetitive kind of thing. And some people say, well, Olga, I get bored. Sometimes, like when I repeat this, it's like, great. If you're getting bored with something, what it means, it's becoming your second nature, becoming normal, it becoming repetitive. So start repeating these exercises and do them until you get bored, because it actually is a good sign. Alrighty, guys, before we move on actually to the third one, I wanted to check with everybody to see how you guys doing. Make sure that there's any questions in the chat. If you guys have anything at all, it's coming up. Alrighty, fantastic. So Karen talked about her ex having multiple sclerosis. The word version years ago. There are people who ask me how he's doing. This still triggers me. And I think this is really good material to tap on, right? Because you're not in charge of his health or his personal life, whatever's going on with him, right? So every time you hear somebody asking you and it triggers you, it's like, great, it's an opportunity to heal, right? Because I think there's this belief in our society, and correct me guys if I'm wrong, especially for women, we just take responsibility for our guys. I remember when I just started dating, and, me and Ernie, we were, just developing relationships. I actually scheduled a session with my practitioner, and I said, you know what, I'm really afraid to share that with him because I'm afraid he'll get hurt. And she looked at me and she said, Olga, he's a grown-up man. Let him deal with his emotions. It's totally fine. And so whatever triggers are coming up, all of these are just really, really gorgeous opportunities to uncover some of your beliefs, to go deeper, and to clear it up. And I'm so glad that Karen brought it up, because that's another thing that you want to pay attention to as you're going through this deep forgiveness, deep clearing process. And it has to do with other people in your life, right? So do you get triggered when others asking you why you're still single? Do you get triggers when your parents tell you, like, when are you going to start dating? Or you get triggered when maybe your friends or somebody else, your neighbor, is asking you any kind of private questions? Because I remember I was getting really triggered about it, to the point I was like, you know what, I'm just going to get married so everybody will leave me alone. So that's how my first marriage happened, right? You know how that ended too. And so notice all of this and say, great, an opportunity to heal, and just tap. Fantastic. All wonderful questions, guys. Anything else before we move on? If it comes up, just go ahead and drop in the chat. I'll be happy to answer. Now, so the third way to check how you moved on is really a deeper, soulful, meaningful work. Let me lay a bit of a foundation and groundwork before we do this exercise. Now, if you're familiar with fast shifty processes, we call it as an integration technique. Integration technique is a subconscious way to integrate with that person on a deeper, more over soul level, more over spirit level. And it's also a great opportunity to check how do you truly feel about them. Because I'm going to try, what I'm going to ask you to do is something very intimate and something that's very spiritual in a way, right? And it could be really scary. And if you haven't truly moved on or made peace with this, it would be a great way to see, okay, I need to do a little bit more tapping here. I need to go ahead and do a little bit more healing here. It's totally fine. I'm so glad that I got uncovered, because better out than in, right? And so the integration technique is really based on the knowledge that we are all one. I'm sure you heard more than once that what you give others, you give yourself, right? Usually 10 times multiplies. I'm sure you also heard the statement that on a deeper level, we are all one. And this concept was really hard for me to grasp. I was like, no, we're not. We're different people. We are not one. And then Deepak Chopra talked about, it's like, okay, just imagine like we are rays of a sun, right? So it's the same sun, but they're different rays. So that's a good way to understand how our psyche is, how our energies are interconnected, and holding grudge, holding anything against another person really does come back to you on a greater scale. And this is such a beautiful philosophy to live by. Like right now, every time I get a little bit unclean and start feeling, you know, some kind of things toward myself, or so like, you know what, it's a great one to clear. It's my time to forgive myself. It's safe to do it. It's okay to let it go. So let's go ahead and do the integration technique, and I'll actually walk you through the steps on that one. So all what I want you to do, guys, is to close your eyes. And in your mind, imagine or picture that person in front of you. And so when I do this one-on-one, I will kind of stop and ask questions, and I will redirect, and I'll ask to double check things. But with you, we're just going to go ahead and go through the whole thing. But you notice for yourself, guys, at what points you start getting triggered. And because that's usually where I'll stop and I'll tap, and then we'll clean and we'll come back and do it. So the ultimate forgiveness, or the ultimate peace with that other person, is through this technique too, where you can really do it all the way till the end without getting triggered. I mean, and you are actually feeling at peace. So go ahead, close your eyes, and just really imagine that this person is in the same room as you. And we talked about this, so if you do some tapping on that, that's fine too. But right now, just kind of play with me. If you can do it, that'd be the best. If not, you can just learn how to do it, and when you're ready, you can go ahead and do it yourself. And as you close your eyes, imagine this person next to you. And what I want you to do in your mind, so I want you to get closer to him or her. And I want you to give that person a hug. And as you hug them, I want you to whisper something in their ears. And as you say this, make sure it's something kind and loving and beautiful, something that will change their life forever. And when you're done, just do it in the privacy of your own mind. Just go ahead and nod your head. I know I cannot see you, but just do it for yourself, so you know that you've said those things that you want to say. Knowing and remembering that every other person in your psyche, every other person in your imagination is just another version of you. And as you're doing this work, you're only healing a part of you that's ready to be healed. And now I want you to notice that the person is going to tell something to you as well. So he or she is going to whisper something in your ear, and just listen to what they're saying. Something kind, loving, and forgiving. And as you listen to this, just let this word fall and just trust and believe that this is an absolute truth. And once you go through this process, the next thing that I want you to do is I want you to give a hug to that person. As you hug him or her, hug him so tight that he almost drifts inside of you. Just go ahead and put a hand on your heart and go ahead and feel this feeling of that person drifting inside of you. And this is where, you know, sometimes people will have a bit of resistance to doing this. And so this is the complete integration, right? So if you cannot do this part, it's really fun to force yourself. But if you can, it's very beautiful and it's very healing. I want you to go ahead and give it a try. And as that person drifts inside of you, you feel whole and peaceful and forgiven. and all is well. Go ahead and tap all together. Go ahead and open your eyes. Take a deep breath. Breathe in. And breathe out. And you still feel this healing presence within you. Go ahead and tap. I choose to see things through the eyes of love. I choose to release and let it go. It's safe for me to move on. It's safe for me to forgive. I'm okay, and he's okay, and it's okay to let it go. At any given time, he did the best he could with what he knew. He didn't know Olga. He didn't know tapping. So it's safe for me to forgive him. It's my time to grow up and be happy with love, compassion, and understanding. I now forgive. I now forgive. I now forgive. And I bring all power back into my body. I'm now worthy and deserving of receiving love and abundance. Okay, very good. Finish tapping. Go ahead and grab your wrist. Take a deep breath. Breathe in. And breathe out. And say word peace. Fantastic. Just out of curiosity, how many of you guys were actually able to go through this process? If you were, let me know in the chat below and just kind of, hey, oh God, yeah, it worked out, or no, I stopped here and there. And just to be very present and very honest with yourself, because the truth is, you can go back and do it again, right? It's not that, okay, if it didn't work this time, it never works. Usually what I'll do is, I'll ask him, okay, so what's sticking out? And we'll go and tap, and then we'll do this again. And sometimes we have to go and do it in the next session, and that's fine too. But the truth is, it really does work. It really is a beautiful, deep healing process. Wonderful. So Sarah said I was, even though I was struggling with the integration part a little. Thank you. Fantastic. I'm so happy. I remember doing this process for so many people in my life. I did it for my ex. Then I did it, get this, guys, for the father of my ex. And it was very, very healing. There was a lot of crying there, because what I saw is that, like, my ex, he just was a very unconscious person. You know, he wasn't necessarily a bad person. He was just unconscious. He was like a little guy. He struggled with such responsibilities. He still does. But yesterday, and this is like another way to check if you have really moved on. If that person pops into your life, how do you feel about them? So here's what happened yesterday. Yesterday was my ex's birthday, and my kids decided to give him a call and say happy birthday. So as they were talking, they were on speakers, they were talking over the phone and you know, telling things. I was like, I can hear his voice, and it doesn't bother me. As a matter of fact, I noticed that he's kind of nice with kids, and it's sweet because he really likes them. And at the end, you know, he hung up and they hung up, and you know, they texted me and he said thank you. And this was the first time he said thank you, and I said happy birthday. This was the first time that I didn't just feel neutral about him. I felt compassion and I felt warmth. And it was a really, really good feeling, because I was like, okay, something is shifting. This is really good. And so, fantastic. So Lala shared, I was able to go through the process. I cried. This is very common, guys. I've cried many times when I've done it. I've done it with my mom, with my dad, done it with my ex. And it's really, really amazing, because it shows you something from within. You really start feeling this thing that all of those gurus are talking about, like we are the one, right? On some level, you feel this unity, you feel part of the universe, of the big energy, of this connection with others, and it feels so liberating to heal it, right? And I was talking to Ernie yesterday. He was sharing something with his client that he's dealing with, and people get stubborn. They get so stubborn over little things, and they ruin their lives, and they create so much drama. And this is why I wanted to compliment you guys and to say thank you for doing this work, because really is the best way to make this planet a better place, is to work on you. This is why I'm so excited about what we are doing in Tap into Love. Because I always say, yeah, you can go and help others, you can go and do a lot of wonderful things in life, but start with you. Build a relationship with yourself, build a relationship with your close one, and whether you are in a relationship right now, or you're starting dating, or you've been kind of separated for a while and getting ready for a next step, I wanted to share with you just a little bit about what I offer and how it works. So here's the truth, guys. Tap into Love is simply a coaching program. It's you and I will get together, we'll tap, we'll heal. Now, it also comes with the modules where I went back and I kind of looked through the steps that I took to get from divorce and heartbroken to happily married, essentially, right? And love and dating and then happily married. And so what I did is it's called a reverse engineered process. So there's a series of exercises I'll ask you to do and the videos to follow. Now, it's not just like where you sit and stuck in front of the computer and you just watch me talking at you, right? Not like this. So the videos will provide you guidance and the step-by-step things that you can do. But it also comes with 10 one-on-one sessions with me. I know it's a lot, but can never get out of the Volga. And so it's a 4-month process to where every other week you and I meet together, tap on things, and then the other week you'll get a module of things to experience. And so as you are sharing your questions or anything else that you want me to address in this session, I want you to go ahead and drop it in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and actually share my screen so you know what I'm talking about. And this way you can, let me make sure that, can you guys tell me if you can see my screen, please? And so you should be seeing Tap into Love method. And me and Ernie, they're kind of sitting on the background. Let me see if you can see that, guys. Let me go ahead and go into chat. Fantastic. Alrighty, so in this program, I work with women who are actually successful in most parts of their life, and they figure out a lot of things except their relationships. That's where I was when I started. It's like, okay, I can do business, I can do kids, I have a lot of things going on. Why keep on tripping over the relationships? And so essentially, if you are in the dating part, or if you're considering, and if you feel stuck, that this is could be a good next step for you. Now, as you're going through this, and I'll make sure that I drop a link so you guys can check it out. I'm actually trying to scroll to something that I wanted to share with you. Sorry, lost the train of thought. Let me try it again. So I wanted to share with you 6 steps that I wanted to take you through, or that I take you through, or take my clients through to help to get from point A to B. And the truth is, when I was working on it, it took me like 2 to 3 years to figure those things out. And that's partially because, you know, I didn't know what I wanted, and I was working as a fast safety practitioner, but I wasn't somebody who specialized in relationships. And I was looking for someone like that, who has knowledge of the subconscious world and who can help me with relationships, and who was able to create similar life for himself. And so I actually wasn't able to find a person like that. So I became one, right? And even though it took me 2 to 3 years to work with another practitioners to get through this, I believe this program is shrinking the journey, because I don't believe in suffering. I don't believe in mediocrity. I believe everybody's deserved to be happy, because happiness of this planet starts from the inside. It starts from healing yourself, start from healing your closest family relationships, then it goes to friends, then it goes to clients, then it goes to everything else. So this is the core of a lot of things when it comes to business. It's the foundation of this. So there are 6 modules that you guys will be going through are essentially the steps. And I know one of the things that I promised to share with you in this workshop is how to attract a partner who matches, you know, your values and who aligns with who you are, versus dating the same person over and over again. And so in this program, these are the modules of the week, so the material that we'll be covering together. So as I mentioned, Tap into Love is a 4-month one-on-one coaching program that incorporates tools to make subconscious changes, right, like tapping and more, so you can finally meet the guy who matches your ability to give and receive love. Now, it's drastically different from other methods. So if you're thinking, okay, well, I read so many books and I took so many courses and I watched the videos and I listened to the podcasts, I totally hear you. But until you get with someone who can help you uncover your beliefs, it's like blind leading blind, right? If you are not working with someone who can actually help you see those patterns. And I always tell people, listen, when you're in a picture, it's hard to see the picture. And the truth is, like, women who come to me, they actually are rather evolved. They've learned and grown, and they just experience so much, and they are just ready to do this work and to go deeper and to go to the next step. And so I come into this work as somebody who had 5+ years experience helping women with fears and emotions and being an advanced fast shifting practitioner, which means an incredible set of skills and tools to help you work with the subconscious mind, right? Which is where the changes are happening. And so whether you're doing this work with me or whether you're doing it by yourself, so those are the steps that I'd like for you to go through as you are going through this journey. So the first module, the first step, really has to do with the self-worth and self-love mastery. If you are suffering from the not good enough syndrome, you'll trip over yourself over and over. So in this module, we talk about how to love yourself truly. We'll talk about the quote of Deepak Chopra that literally changed the world for me. I wrote it down, put it on a sticky note, and I really, really embodied it. And if you haven't heard the quote, guys, so this is what it says. Somebody asked him, how do you find a soulmate? So his answer was, ready? Make a list of what you want him to be and become that. And so this is the core of this program, right? So how do you do this? How do you make that list? How do you become that? How do you go clear your beliefs and limitations and not good enoughness? And so this first module really, really focusing on forgiving yourself, how to live with an open heart, even if it hurts, and how to release old relationships programs. In module 2, we're going to how to get over your ex, how to trust again. And this is where we really start cleaning up some of the things from the past. Now, again, you can do this work yourself, or you can get a practitioner or professional to help you with this. So we talk about unconscious loving and codependency, how to truly get over your ex, where we'll use the tools that you and I use in this training and use in this challenge, but also we'll go deeper and we'll talk about more things. The true meaning of forgiveness, the law of attraction for trust, how to show up yourself with love decisions. So this module is something that's building you up toward the attraction part, right? Now in module 3, we're actually going to go into attracting the right guy. So this is a really fun module. And here we'll talk about a bit of a dating prep, the decluttering, how to create an attitude of non-attachment, how to choose a guy who chooses you, what do you guys really want. So we'll talk about all the things that really help you understand the law of attraction for manifesting. Get it? Manifesting, man, manifesting. Now in the 4th module, we're going into the dating one-on-one. So here's the truth, guys. Dating 20 years ago is different from dating now. Dating doesn't have to be complicated or difficult or your second job. It could be very simple and very enjoyable, as a matter of fact. Now, I was dating for 2 or 3 months, and it was a really fun time. I work with women who was dating for 2 or 3 years or try to date. And so this is the module where I teach you everything that I've learned about dating to just have fun with it. And don't get stuck in a dating scene. Remember, my goal for you is to find a partner and be happy. And so in this module, we'll talk about 80-20 rule of dating and relationships, unspoken dating rules, the do's and don'ts of modern dating, online profile, online dating etiquette, opening your online profile. Now, let me just put it out there. A lot of women come to me and say, Olga, I'm not ready to go dating. And that's totally fine. Here's what I want to tell you. I want you to learn about this anyways. It's kind of like this. A lot of women get stuck in the stage of kind of healing and working on yourself because they're missing this piece. Imagine this, like you want to go work out in gym, right? You want to have a better body. You can sit and hypnotize yourself and work it out. But at some point, you have to go and work out at the gym, right? You cannot just go and look at the treadmills and get skinny because of that, although Abraham Hicks might argue with me on that. But most of us who are not as good of a manifestor as Abraham Hicks actually need to do something. It doesn't have to be hard or complicated, and this is where I come in. But this is a step that I definitely want you to experience. And here's not the truth, guys. Like when I started learning all these things, like one of my first teachers was Ariel Ford in her Soulmate Secrets. She talked about decluttering your space and creating things to bring in this man into your life. I did when I was still married. I was still married and I started learning this. It's not because I want to cheat on my husband. It's because I really genuinely wanted to figure out this. I'm like, well, maybe he's my soulmate. I'm not just not seeing it, right? And so if you're in a relationship, if you're not sure, I still want you to learn all of those things because they are absolute gold and it will give you education, information, and tools you need to move forward. In Module 5, we'll talk about how to communicate your needs. This is a really juicy one because I'll teach you how to talk about very difficult topics like sex, money, and emotions. And here's the truth, I'm still learning this. I'm not perfect. Me and Ernie are figuring it out years ago. But there's some simple things that nobody ever taught us. These things we don't learn them in schools. Most of us don't learn it from our parents, right? We don't have good models. And so speaking microscopic truth is something that is deeper in our house. And I will talk you through the process, how to do this. We'll talk about healthy boundaries, how to have difficult conversations, the do's and don'ts of healthy interactions. And most importantly, in this program, I really will help you bring up the limitations, the beliefs behind it, right? Because those are the ones that lead everything forward. And finally, in Module 6, we'll talk about how to keep love. So this is the one that's like, okay, I found the guy. Now, how do you make sure that it's going to stick around, how it stays? And so that's where we go into the 7 habits of happy couples, conscious loving ever after, how to avoid the common traps of codependent or unconscious loving, how to be with a guy who is a great guy, because I remember I struggled with this, right? So how do you struggle to be with a great guy? Believe me, all of our limiting beliefs coming up when good things are starting to happen with us. The upper limit problem is very real. The sabotages are very real. And so I wanted to invite you to check out this program and to work with me within this program. It comes with amazing bonuses. All of the things that you see in front of you is part of that. And one thing that I wanted to share with you guys is in order to enroll, I do ask you, because there is a I'm ready button, so don't use this button. Let me tell you what to do next. The dates are wrong here, so don't worry about it. But I do offer 100 off of this program if you sign up by Monday. Now, so the next step is to book a free consultation. So this is the button that I actually would like for you to click. And here's the truth, guys. Free consultation is just what it sounds. It's a discovery session. It's a way for us to figure out if this is your right next step or not. And so as you click there, guys, go ahead and just scroll to the bottom and go ahead and answer those questions. So as you fill this out, I want to tell you that all of these are 100% private. So it's going to go directly to my email. It doesn't go to my virtual assistant, it doesn't go to the business, it actually go to my personal email. And once you send this one, I will go ahead and respond to you and we can book a quick chat. Now, if you schedule this introductory consultation within 24 hours from now, you also get a free gift from me. Here's the truth, guys. I don't want you to get free content and think, okay, it's going to be some high pressure selling techniques. I don't do high pressure selling. I do value selling, which means I'll talk to you, and based on where you are, I either will help you get through a block or help you discover something, or I'll just give you a recommendation, because sometimes people are not ready for this work, and it's totally fine. And then maybe all what I tell you is I'll send you to a book or another program or a video that I recommend you to get unstuck. But I highly recommend that you click on this link and book the session. So during the session, not only that you'll get a chance to talk to me and possibly figure out if we're going to work together, but you also get a free gift from me, which I'm very excited about. Make sure that I stop share. Alrighty, fantastic. Well, thank you so much, guys, for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure to talking to you and tapping with you today. It's been a bit longer than I planned, but looks like things worked out really well. Thank you so much for coming. I will make sure to send a replay if you kind of want to go through this parts again. And I'm most certainly looking forward to meeting with you and talking to you in person soon during those discovery calls. Thanks again, guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.